Welcome to DeereFacts, hosted by Willie Cade.
I'm Willie Cade. I'm the host of DeereFacts. Welcome to my vlog or video log. My hope is to give you information about the equipment that you own so that it doesn't own you. My grandfather was Theo Brown, a famous engineer at John Deere, and sat on the board of directors of John Deere for nearly 30 years. He earned 158 patents in his long career. During his career, 31 of those patents were on the manure spreader. And some people think that went genetic. Just a joke, I know. But let me get serious. So I'm going to start this particular vlog with some statistics. I like numbers. 98% of the 2 million farms/ranches in the United States are family operations. 98%. By the way, every time I cite a statistic like that, you'll be able to pick up the web address for that specific citation down in the comments below. Those 98 family operations produce 86% of the U.S. agricultural products. And 2/3 of farming and ranching are done in the U.S. on a part-time basis. And the final fact I want to kind of bring in here is that 54% of the cropland that's harvested annually is either rented or leased. For me, what that says about the state of agriculture is that it could be a very fragile delivery system for our food. And as we saw this past summer with the JBS cyber attack, small things can have a very large effect on the industry. But let me talk a little bit about me and why me. Why am I doing this particular vlog? I'm a board member of the Repair Association, more commonly known as repair.org. And I focus on the issues of right to repair in agriculture. A little bit of it is because of my family history, but also because of my work history. I'm a proud member of the Nebraska Farm Bureau, and I'm also a member of the Nebraska Farmers Union. I also know that many people may not want to speak up on this particular issue. They may not want to challenge manufacturers or dealers because it's just too risky. I got a big mouth and I'm going to go ahead and do it. So here I go. I've spent many years reusing electronics. And so I believe what we're really talking about here in the right to repair issue in agriculture is about the electronics or the software in these machines that control them. I make a distinction between the physical device and the software that runs and controls the system. And what's new really is that software system. And just as 100 years ago, when we transitioned from animal power to mechanical power, we're now having to make a transition from mechanical power to computerized equipment. Producers, ranchers, and farmers have had a long tradition of being able to repair their own equipment. If you will, it's just out of a need. But also, too, it's timely so that they can control, given their particular situation and their circumstances, whether it's weather or what timing or whatever, that they have control of their repairs of their equipment is vital. And I think it's kind of interesting that John Deere, the company itself, John Deere, the blacksmith, in 1837, started what is now this amazing company from reusing a broken saw blade. He was at a customer's. They had thrown a saw blade on the floor, and he said, "Hey, can I use that?" I mean, one of the things that was really interesting is because that saw blade had sawed so many logs, it was really well polished, which made it particularly good for cutting through the rich, deep grasslands here in the Midwest. And I think it's important that we understand that producers spend a lot of time in their tool shed. I think it's probably more time than in the barns. And when you go into a tool shed, what I love about the tool shed is their collection of parts and tools that they can use to fix their devices. And that's pretty common and pretty well understood. And for generations, people have been able to do that. What's not so common in the tool shed these days is the software, the payload files, the things that are necessary to complete the repair of that device with the software so that it's fully functional and it's back out on the fields. Remember, taking care of your equipment and it will take care of you. And I'm pretty sure that many of you have understand that there's a change happening in agriculture and equipment. Yeah, it's getting more electronics and you can do more and interesting things. And, you've got precision guidance and all of those kind of things. But there's also a downside to it. And that downside seems to be that you can't control your repairs, and boy, are they getting expensive. I've even heard of some interesting stories about guys who go out and buy equipment from 1995 because it doesn't have any electronics on it. It's used equipment, and they want that, not the headache of repairing the device and then having to figure out whether or not this piece of software or that piece of software is needed in order to make it go. So I'm going to share with you right now a story that someone sent me. I'm not going to use his real name. I'll call him Peter. I'm not going to use his real voice. It's a synthetic voice. But you are going to hear exactly the words that he shared with me about his circumstance.
Good morning, Willie. I got an invite to your event. I wanted to say thanks for saying what we all think. Saying stuff I can't really say without bringing harm to my family. Sorry I didn't email till now. I hadn't had time. I'm sure you get it with your granddad and all. My story is a simple one. We grow corn, and it used to be enough to live all right. Used to be the equipment wasn't too bad on price. Now it seems like all we do is pay for it. Seems like we just rent our lives from John Deere until they decide they want a new tenant. I'm sorry I can't go on record. Just don't want things to get worse than they already are. Thanks, Willie.
Those are very strong words. Those were really moving words to me. And actually, what has propelled me to do this video blog and all the others that I have planned coming up. So I'm asking you to do something that maybe you're not used to doing, but I'm asking you to act. So let me give you a few reasons why I think it's in your interest to act. Number one is I don't think you're getting the full truth from the manufacturers. I certainly have listened to what they've been saying for the last couple of years as I've been working on agricultural right to repair issues. And there's an awful lot of misinformation fear, uncertainty, and doubt, or FUD, that they put out. And frankly, it kind of annoys me. I would even say pisses me off. So, and I'm hoping you have a little sense of that, but I also want to be respectful that you may not feel comfortable working the way I am, very vocally, very publicly. But I think I can give you some ways that you can add a little bit to this conversation that'll be important. So what I want you to do, and I'm going to have it show up here on the screen, is go over to the repair.org website. And when you pull it up, it'll look like this. And you'll scroll down and you'll see a section that's called Fighting for You. And there's a button on it. And in the button, it says Stand Up. Go ahead and click on Stand Up. And when you do that, what you see is the picture of the U.S. Capitol. Scroll down a little bit and you'll see a map of the U.S. And on that map, you'll see all of the states that are currently considering right to repair legislation. Now, I'm going to talk about Nebraska because I'm particularly interested in that legislation coming up. And so I'm going to click on the state of Nebraska. And what happens is you'll get a window. And I'm going to fill in my name, Willie Cade, with my email address, williecade@gmail.com. I'm going to put in my address and my zip code. Now, the address and zip code is important, not because we want your information and we're going to share it with anybody or any of that kind of stuff. But what it will do is it will allow you, this website, to send directly to your elected representatives comments about what you think about agricultural right to repair. It'll go to their offices. It's not going to anybody else. It's just going to go to your elected representative's office. So once you've filled in those 6 fields of information, then click on Start Writing. And in your own words, you can write down what it is that you'd like to say. So I particularly wanted to thank Senator Brandt in Nebraska for introducing legislation titled LB 543. It's an agricultural right to repair bill, and I'm extraordinarily pleased with his leadership in bringing this legislation not only to the Judiciary Committee of the Nebraska Senate, but also to the floor of the Senate. And all of you that are listening from Nebraska, if you do this and put in your address, your particular senator will get an email from you that says you're interested in it. And I cannot tell you how important that is. So, and by the way, if you're in another state, that's great too. There are 10 states right now that are doing agricultural right to repair, and there are 27 states that are doing just general right to repair legislation. And you can select all of them on the page there. Thank you for being willing, A, to listen to what I'm saying, but also, two, is maybe take a little bit of time and do something about it. Now, next time, I'm going to talk about payload files. And what is a payload file? And how is it that payload files are so important in the device software context that's now agricultural products? Thank you very much. By the way, if you notice down in the lower right-hand corner, the leaping deer with the DF in front of it, you'll notice it's a lot like maybe a John Deere logo, except wait a minute. The deer is jumping to the right. That's because I think it's right for people to repair their own equipment unencumbered anytime, anywhere they want, or even by anyone they want. Thank you for your valuable time. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.